Hi, welcome to Photos with Frank, where we take interesting people and put them into their favorite things. I'm joined with John Warden, Fluke and Box.
That's me.
Uh,
But you said interesting
Austra-
people.
yeah, I mean, look, you're pretty interesting, I reckon. It did immediately die. That's fine. It's okay. We're going on. I still have the actual recording, so we're gonna do it. It's fine. Okay. You're interesting. You've got a fun favorite card. This was actually one of your spoiler cards, right?
It was?
Yeah.
Did
Why
you
don't
watch that spoiler? Do you remember it?
Look, you've caught me. I don't think I did.
I think
What?
I did a very good job with that one.
What was it? Describe it to me.
So I have like a box that I put every armory booster I win in, and I just open them all at once when I have like 100 of them.
Cool.
So I got an Everfest pack, and I opened it very carefully, and I took out the cards, and I put in an Everfest skull cap, and then I put in the Marvel Cromai, which no one had seen a double, like we'd seen Starvo double-sided, but no one had seen a Marvel Dragon before.
My Everfest just died. But now it's back on. Okay. I'm so interested in this story, so
I'll repeat it.
yeah, okay. I'm just gonna not make it too complicated. I'm going to just do one OBS, and then I will deal with the file at the end. Okay?
Remember,
sorry
I'm
about
recording as well, so
Oh yeah, sweet. Yeah, well then I'll just do my. Okay, I'm just gonna do my screenshot, so we're not gonna worry about that. Okay, screenshot's done. We're starting again. Hi, welcome to Photos with Frank, where we take interesting people and put them into their favorite things. I'm joined by John Warden, Fluke and Box himself, and we're talking about Cromai, and we're talking about how interesting John is.
not at all.
I took your joke from the first recording,
Yes.
and then I played on it because
You cheated, basically. You time warped me. Yeah.
This whole content creator thing is full of hoops and jumps and all those fun things in between. But yes, I'm gonna ask you, because this is your spoiler card, right? The first thing I'm gonna get you to do, though, John, is in about a minute, in 30 seconds, whatever, give me a quick rundown of why this is your favorite card, why you like it so much, if that's okay.
Well, I like it because it was the first time I saw a cold foil Marvel Dragon. And of all the spoilers I've had, which is not actually that many because I preferred or asked for boxes and tried to get boxes more than cards, it is by far the strongest card, I believe. I don't think you could play Dromai without Cromai.
Yeah.
It's inherently the best dragon. It fits. You have to play it. It's 0 cost. It's a way to gain an action point. There's some crazy synergies with like Toma Findle and stuff that like pretty much no other deck can just do.
Well, we're talking about Runeblade here. This is a Runeblade channel, John, and I need you to remember that Runeblade can do everything.
But
not well right now.
I think the cost of Runeblade, like for you to use your creepers and flash something in and gain an action point, all that is much more costly than Cromai just needing an Ash.
Yeah, being a 0 cost into it is pretty good. Yeah. I'll give you that.
There's some wacky combos, man. You can like flash in a Cromai, swing with it, gain the action point, and because it gives itself go again because it's a red that you play. It's very good. All I'm trying to say is it's probably the most powerful staple card that Dromai plays. And I was the one that spoiled it. And I could immediately tell it was very good.
Yeah, it's definitely like an honor to get a spoiler and not only have a really, being a part of that little bit of history, but also having like a pretty cool card. We'll see if that rings true for my dimensional vortex. But
well, I'm a big fan of that card. It's only the second card ever that is like there are cards that don't pitch like Library, right? and Caution. But the only other card that's even comparable to your spoiler is Gorganian Tome, but you can only have one of them in the deck. Vortex is one of, or no?
No, you can have as many as you want.
You can actually play a deck with 4 cards that pitch for 0 for Ravenous to come in for 5. Like you not that you would, but you can, and that's a very new thing in the game. It doesn't have an attack value or a block value. It's crazy, like unique.
It also had the first unconditional arsenal removal in the game. So it was like the first in a few different interesting ways, which is really, really cool.
And so even if it's not a powerhouse, although playing with Arsenal is always strong, it's never not strong. Yeah. I think you'll see that. I think it's more reliant on where Runeblade is. Is it Shadow Runeblade? It is Shadow.
No, it's just Shadow. So Levia can use it as a one-up.
But that's more limiting than anything because it will require the Shadow Heroes to be in the meta for us to maybe see that card played.
Yeah, I think honestly at this exact moment, like right before calling Birmingham, and like it's a very new meta. I think the most use that you see with that card is with Levia at the moment. Finding it as a singleton for Shadow of Basmofet. But you know that's still pretty cool. I like that a lot. You did have an interesting Cromai story, right? You were talking about?
Yeah, my spoiler video.
Yes.
So I have a box that I put all my prize packs in. Usually it ends up being like 100 or 200 prize packs before I... By the way, I say prize packs. I'll usually also buy 3-4 packs every armory I go to and just throw them in there for an opening video later. Yes.
So it all
when they sent me the Cromai, I got an Everfest pack with the paper wrapping. I took it apart without tearing it. Like just peeled it at the seams, took the cards out, put in a Everfest dull cap, and my Cromai double-sided card, and glued it back. Right?
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I hid the open part of the pack. So I put a mountain of packs on my desk, and I hid that one sort of where I knew it was. And I was like, just started recording. And I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to record a video. These are all my prize packs from the year. And I'm like pretending that my girl's in the back telling me to rush. I'm like, all right, babe, I'm coming. Let me just finish this video. Like to make it like, I don't know. It came out very well, yeah. And then I opened like WTR pack. I did them in order. Then an Arcane pack, then Crew, then Mon. And then I get to Everfest when I get to it and what the fuck? And then it ends, you know what I mean? And actually people were like, wait, that comes in Everfest packs? Like people watching the video, I think I sold it to some people, which was the point to make it a bit entertaining.
Yeah, that's really fun. I'll find that. And
it's a short video. It's only a few minutes.
I'll link it. Yeah. I'll link it at the end. But yeah, that was really creative. That's a very good way to do it, and I like that it adds the like. My uncle in Nintendo told me that this was only exclusive to, you know, it could be found in Everfest, like causing that little bit of
yes,
that excitement is, you know, I guess the whole thing about the spoilers is right to generate hype, and so as long as you do that in like a fun and festive way, then that's
well,
great.
I wanted to try and create how it's going to feel to open a dragon. Because like Starvo is upside down and you see it, and all the Marvel double-sided cards you see from the back, which is a very exciting part of FAB. You know you hit gold when you see that flash. Like Starvo, you'd see this rainbow colors from the back of the pack, you know? So I tried to recreate that.
We've obviously opened different amounts of packs because you told me that and I felt like I just learned something. Because I've never opened a Marvel.
Well, usually if you do box break content, and you might end up doing some box break content because it's fun to do when the new set comes out. Or if you get your hands on something really old and rare, you want to record it for posterity, like you want to have the experience.
I see.
You'll open the pack, but on camera, most of the time you open it from the back, right? So you open the pack and the seal is on the back. So usually it's just all brown. But when there's a Marvel, there's one glint of cold foil from the back, and you just know. Like, it's unavoidable. Well, you can't avoid seeing it unless you hold the pack at the exact right angle to the camera, which is nearly impossible.
Yeah, I see. Okay. do you have like a secret trick when because you do a lot of Brox breaks, you do like, you talk about some of the drama and stuff that's going on in the FAB. You talk about different like sales posts, and you just make a lot of content about a lot of different things. Do you have a like a favorite type of content that you like to make?
Box breaks.
Box breaks. They're just hands down your favorite.
Because
okay, cool.
I genuinely, during COVID, when I started the channel, when Tales just came out, I was opening packs at home for me for fun. And then I started recording them because I started getting into much higher end boxes like Crucible First Edition and WTR.
How did you get into FAB? So during COVID, I think
I watched a Rudy video. I'll give you this short. So I watched a Rudy video. I saw him open the crew. It's a very famous crew box because it had Shiana and a Shard, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Like, everyone was like, seeded box, you know what I mean? But actually, crew has that ability. Like, you'll sometimes hit both. And anyway, I went and bought one at GamesCube for like way too much money. I think it was $1,200 at the time, which I didn't know what the market price was. I just wanted to find somewhere local because you couldn't even drive legally at the time. Went, bought it, and I opened a Shiana Pack 1 cold foil. And like the public listings for that card the day I opened it were like 12,000 Australian. Knowing what I know now, no one was buying them for that. But like when you Googled it, it came up with listings for 12 grand. I was like, holy crap. And then I kind of caught the bug. I'm not much of a gambler, genuinely. Like, I don't gamble, but that is what got me started, was the little bit of gambling. Like, you buy the box, but it's fun. The cards are pretty, and I had no TCG experience, but I did watch a lot of Rudy content because I enjoy the droning on in the background, and then he'd react, and then you look over. So pretty much I emulate my content to him. I open fast, I talk crap, and I try and keep you engaged, and I assume that you're not watching. I assume you're listening when I open boxes.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. And then so from there you started. I mean, we know you as, locally at least, as Dory Stan, right? Like that's your bread and butter. You played a little bit with Cromai, because your spoiler card, but so
I've genuinely played most decks. Just people don't know that. Yeah. I played Kano, Blitz, Rhinar. I nearly played Briar in the team calling, but I always go back to Dory because I do find it the most fun.
Yeah.
So I try every deck to learn so that I'm not just a one-trick pony. I feel like you get better when you pilot other decks. Sometimes I'll go to an armory and request a friend swap decks with me for the night because that's the best way to learn. Is he keeps let's say someone keeps beating you with their Rhinar, ask them to borrow the Rhinar next armory. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of players will, especially if your deck is geared and you have all the right cards. Like if you've done your job with your deck and it's a good deck, a lot of people out of curiosity will swap with you. So I've done that a lot. Played Icelander.
Yeah.
But I always come back to Dory.
She's just the deck for you, really.
Yeah, it's that play style got me into the game. I'm very open to playing other decks. James White told me to play Azuri. He's like, you're going to love that hero. It's very strong. But I can't stomach it. Like, I don't enjoy it as much as Dory.
Oh, interesting.
Because Azuri's like bluffing every turn. But it's not really a bluff. You know exactly what Azuri's going to do most of the time. Right?
It has been a very strange one in that she does a lot, but also not that much. In that she's very versatile in like different ways to attack your opponent's stuff, but yeah, she is also not really doing more than 6 damage a turn or whatever.
And look, I think Azuri is very strong, but Dory can go from a naked Dawnblade to dealing 15 damage to your face. She can do that.
Yeah,
I've killed a Starvo from 15 with a double red overpower. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's possible on Dory. Even Guardian doesn't really have that ceiling in the reaction phase. Like, Guardian at most can afford 1 pummel. Like, if they're very, very lucky, they might get 2 off because they heaved the last turn. You know what I mean? Like, but if they heave, they're usually using the seismics on like a 3 cost and then double pummeling it. But that's so far fetched. Well, Dory actually with like a couple of cards can go nuts.
I found at the most recent RTN season on the final round I was playing against Doria's Phi, and I learned the hard way that there's certain Dory's such a interesting hero to play against that sometimes the correct answer is to just not block against her.
Do you want to see?
So like, yeah, please.
The correct answer is always not to block against Dory.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Which is very counterintuitive because she's has 2 on hits nearly every turn cycle. On hit, she can swing again, and the second swing on hit is gain a counter, and that's not counting like supremacy and all these other cards with on hits. The main thing is just her weapon has an on hit, and the hero ability is an on hit. But the correct answer, 100% is Phi, is to more or less never block.
Well, I was at 10,
yeah,
and this thing was coming in for 5, and they had like 2 or 3 cards in hand, but
yeah.
So I ended up blocking for 5, being like, I don't think he can come over for 10, and yeah, he just
killed you
because I blocked, like chained things into it, and it was all reprised, so it was a really interesting one.
Little pro tip as a Runeblade player is a lot of your armor will block. So sometimes it's try and get, if you're going to block with cards from hand, do that when you have a lot of life and save your armor for when you're on 5. Because if you're on like the kill window, you remember in the days with the Kano combo with chain lightning, or was it forked?
It was 11, I think.
It was 13 and then AB2 or whatever, like right, whatever it was. There was like a pretty much at 11 you're dead. So you had to try your best.
Because that damage it could do 14 damage was the thing, and so it was assuming that your opponent had AB3 because kind of everyone did at the time.
So you get my logic. There was like a kill, and Reinhardt is usually similar. Like you can't get to 2 because he's just gonna block you till he kills you, right? So Reinhardt also with a quad intim or like double intim, it usually just has to deal 6 and kills you anyway. But my point is this: the Dory kill window is actually one of the highest in the game. Like at 20 life, at under 20 life, you're in a very risky spot if I have counters on my Dawnblade, because if I swing twice with 1 counter, it's 8 just off the weapon swings. And it's not hard to get the extra damage through reactions and front pumps. It's just not hard. 2 or 3 counters, the game is usually over if you're on 20. And I'm also on high life. Like, you know, if you're on 20, I'm on 2 life, I'm probably going to lose. But you get what I mean. You don't want to be low life into Dory, because when it's counterintuitive, that's when you start blocking on every other deck, but it's exactly when you don't want to block against Dory is late game. So keep your armor late game is what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
that's really interesting. That's
I'm telling you what I hate seeing is their armor alive when they're on like 10 health. I'm like, it's going to be hard to kill them.
Yeah,
because I'm going to swing a Dawnblade for 4 and you're on 8 and you say no blocks. I may not have any way to pump it or to actually kill you. I might be able to pump it by 3, but
What do you think of the axe?
Terrible.
You know, the Decimator axe?
Yeah, it's terrible. I played it. It's what it is. It's very, very good into some decks, like that mid-range. It's very cool gameplay wise, but it auto loses into like other matchups. Just auto, like you cannot beat Illusionist whatsoever. You have 0 chance, because to swing that axe twice to clear the board is like near impossible. And if you're spending that many resources just to swing twice, you're not blocking the turn before, so it's very bad value.
Here's my question for you. So like where I see the axe and where kind of I've seen some lists of people talk about is that it just makes Dory very, very good at fatigue. Because that just the axe doing it means that like it's very hard for your opponent to actually. The axe is
let's say unblockable, right? Because you got to pretty much give me 2 cards. Your sink below blocks for 2, so it's not great. It's not easy to block that axe.
Yeah,
But
and so
as fatigue goes, it's still not a very good deck to fatigue
not
people.
as effective.
Like it's not
Yeah.
Oldham, you know. We don't have that ability. Like my point is, what decks can you fatigue? It's decks maybe like Levia, decks like Reiner,
Yeah,
Dash,
I guess
right?
my question was gonna be, I wonder, like, Dory uses all of her. She like really needs all of her sideboard slots, or is it like a you've got a mains thing and then you've got some cards that like
What I
help
found
certain
is
matchups?
every deck that we could fatigue or that gameplay might work,
Yeah.
Dawnblade is better.
Oh,
Because
okay.
Dawnblade is going to force you to make mistakes. If I'm playing Decimator Axe, you know exactly what's happening every turn. It's very predictable. Yeah. And like if you're playing Dash, you can pivot. If you're playing a lot of these decks, like Reiner also has weapons. Reiner doesn't have to get fatigued if they pick up on what you're doing. And I think any decent player will see Decimator Axe and go, "Oh, your damage output is low. I'm just going to outvalue you all game."
Okay.
But
interesting.
I'm no like look. Dawnblade isn't in a terrible spot. The new gloves are amazing.
Yeah, they're incredible. Every time I've played against it, I've played against it mostly in Bolton. But every time I've played against it, I've just been so impressed. Like people have just so consistently gotten just a ton of value out of it.
It's very, very good value. Especially like think about this on Dory. Bolton is obvious reason why that is very good. Because you know, they use a lot of attack actions, which this is buffing, and it turns on the go again, the ability to give go again, because the next thing has +1. So the courage token is very strong. On Dory, it's crazy how it's the same card with a very different effect on both heroes. On Dory, I'm swinging a naked Dawnblade, which is silly to block. Why give me Reprise? Why give me a Glint, right? But now my naked Dawnblade says on hit courage token, as well as I might give it going in and swing again with +1. So a lot of times people are blocking the naked Dawnblade when you have no intention of swinging again, which never used to happen.
Yeah.
People stopped blocking naked Dawnblades since 2019, you know what I mean? Like they caught on.
Yeah.
But now it's not quite naked, is it? Because I only have I have one card in hand. You're like, is he going to give it go again? Or is he going to Arsenal? But I don't want to give him a courage token. Because, you know, man, sometimes the next turn is Nourishing Emptiness for 7.
Oh, I've gotten Kasai before. I know that life.
Yeah, but for 7 is like Dominate.
Pretty rough.
It's terrible. Or Command and Conquer for 7. Like, it's attack actions. You can E-Strike for 8, depending on how your deck's built. Or your first Dawnblade swing is a 4, which is already very, very... It's exactly where you need your Dawnblade swing to be for Dory to really pop off, because it can go over a Sink Below.
Yeah, 4 is such a different number than 3.
World of difference. You're eating armor, right? You're either getting counters or you're eating armor, which is nearly as valuable as counters. Like I said, we want to get rid of the armor early, and Versus just forces that gameplay of you have to block. You have to block.
Also, you want to... this is I literally learned this last month because it just had never occurred to me. Did you know that Dory only really works... her effect only works if it's an on-hit effect? If it doesn't hit, then you can't get go again, even if you...
well, you can get go again, you can't swing again, correct.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that for so long. We've played so many games at local tournaments and stuff. And it's just I probably should have known that a lot.
Well, the new Dory, the Blitz one, Quicksilver, doesn't. It's specifically what a text says. If it has go in, it can swing again. I wish that was the CC version. But it's not. Because then you're always presenting 2 hits, regardless of if they block correctly on the first one or not.
In Blitz, do you... I finished, by the way, so I'm about to send it to you. But in Blitz, do you play the new Dory, or do you still play old Dory?
Well, shout out to Grimdark Gaming in Wollongong. They're running a skirmish this weekend. Is it this weekend? No, it's in August.
We might actually be able to make it.
Please do. Try and come, because they have this cool bounty. and I'm one of the bounties. So if you beat me, you get like extra packs. But also, there's like, I think I get a case of product if I win the skirmish on. So basically, they ranked all the heroes, and the weakest heroes, there's like a case bounty if you win the event with Shiana or you win the event with KO. You actually get like a case. Well, if you win it on Kano, it's like you get 6 extra boosters. You know what I mean? Like they balanced it in a way probably off LL points. So I'm going to play Quicksilver because Quicksilver's rated as like dog shit. But it's not that bad. Like so I'm going to be playing that at skirmish just for the chance.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean it's August 5th, 6th. Like we like to come up to Grimdark Gaming
yes, you do.
In Wollongong. They're good people and the shop's great and like Brandon's a good guy, so yeah, we like going there. And usually we'll try to make it for a skirmish. If that's next weekend, that seems good. We have 2 locally here. I was actually gonna build Chain. I have Kano, but
did Chain get much in the new set?
No, not really.
Because it's very Vincent focused, right? Like all the rune gating stuff doesn't really work on Chain at all.
Yeah, do you know what's funny? I think the thing that Chain might have gotten, the meeps. One of your worst matchups is Dash, and this is just another snatch that you have, that you also get to kind of combo off with. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna build it, and also it means that you can't be fatigued even more, which I like a lot. But yeah, so did you see the picture?
Where have you sent it?
I've just sent it on Discord.
Send it to Facebook so I don't have to cancel Discord and end the recording.
Yes, easy. I will do that now.
So you'll be on Chain more than likely?
More than likely. I also, like, as I said, I have Kano, but if everybody is going to play like the Oasis,
well, with sideboard, I imagine you're gonna see a lot of.
It's
This is hilarious.
Yeah, I wanted to. It was a little bit hard to find a good image of Daenerys, but
that's okay.
We had to put you in on that somehow, and then it felt a little empty. So I thought Superman coming with you would be.
Makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I could sit here and chat with you all day about just the local what's going on, because excited about the skirmish season, excited about it. So we got a little bit of your story. We got a deep dive into Dory, which I always love because that hero, for as much as it's played, it kills me a lot.
we should sit down and have that chat over some gameplay, and I can show you how not to lose into it at my own detriment.
Yeah, I'd be into that. It's I think what happened is because we've played, and I think I have a good record against you, but that was before the puncture stuff, and so since the puncture stuff, I've had to relearn my heuristics for Dory.
Yep.
And that has been I think I've got it down now, but it took me like 3 or 4
You'll
matches
just never
where I would lose in different times.
Yeah, there's never a big opportunity to learn into Dory unless you target test into it. Because there might be players locally, but it's never that common. There's never multiples in the room in like a 12-man armor. It's very unlikely to see more than one. And actually, a lot of times they're a newer player. Like, an experienced Dory player is rare.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Hayden Dale has a million reps into Dory, but you know, he's been playing since day one, and he's changed. Like, he used to play Rana a lot, and he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, people will switch off it. It's an old hero. Like, who plays any of the first 4 heroes regularly? It's not that many people.
Yeah. I've been playing some Katsu lately as well, as I've been like playing around with some ninja stuff. But with Vincent, I was gonna ask you about. You said you played all the heroes. How has Vincent been for you? Have you given that a go?
I haven't. I've played against Vincent. No. Yeah.
I have a deck list that I'll send you afterwards that I've been working on.
Yeah.
For Nats, but I think we will end it here. If you have any plugs Do it now. This is your time.
FlukeandBox.shop if you need any singles. That's it.
All the singles internationally.
Internationally. Actually, sorry, FlukeandBox.com. I'm going to turn off .shop at some point. It's just a redirect right now.
Yeah. Yeah, sweet. And you also have your own YouTube channel. Are you on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're just around doing things, and check out your website. Thank you so much, John. I am going to stop it here, and then we'll chat some after.
All right, Frank.
Okay.